Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
We're joined by Mr. Bob Kratzer, who's in the midst of traveling. He's not driving right now. Okay, so we're all being safe. We're talking about jigging. We just learned a little bit about technique, how and why, all right? 50-pound braid as opposed to 30. What size reel do you like, spinning reel? Do you like a 30, 35, 40? What do you like?
I like a 40.
Thank you, because that's what I've got. I love the size because you get your gear back faster. I like speed, man. That's just me.
Yep.
All right, let's talk.
I like the 40. You just got to be a little bit careful on how much you reel. And so, that's why I always tell people, like, the average amount of reeling is a quarter of a turn. And so, I mean, if you look at a quarter of a turn on a reel, it's not very much, right?
Right.
It's pretty small. It's pretty a small movement on a reel. So, but the 40 works really well. Holds that 50-pound well, gives you plenty of line on there. Good retrieve when you need it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so jigs. There's so many different manufacturers out there. There's Yakima bait jigs. There's Simon jigs, Arrow jigs. There's all kinds of different versions that are out there, but the similarities between them are pretty consistent. You got different weights from 3/8 to half ounce to not quarter ounce, but you got all these different sizes and different colors. When is it that you like to change, say, from a 3/8 to a half ounce? And along with that, when do you like to change from the darker colors that are very popular, the blacks, the purples, that sort of a color scheme, to something brighter like chartreuse or cerise or just a bright pink? When is it that you make those changes?
So let me start out first with sizes. And let me say this, that the most common size is going to be a 3/8 or a half ounce. 3/4 ounce, they have their place. I use 3/4 and I use 1 ounce. It's going to have to be pretty deep water, pretty fast water. If the river's really big, really roily and big, then I might go to the 3/4 or the 1 ounce. But 3/8 and halves are going to be your standards. Now, I would say this, that for the majority of the people, if you're new at this, stick with half ounce. Half ounce allows you to get down, keeps you in there. The biggest thing that most beginners do is they tend to want to reel a little too much. And so when you want to reel a little too much, the half ounce will allow you to reel a little bit and help kind of keep your jig down in the zone. All right. The 3/8 ounce are wonderful. Half ounce are typically what I use. I'll use 3/8 ounce in low flows like we are experiencing right now. I don't know what the Oregon coast looks like, but if you're looking like anything like the Washington coast, our rivers right now are just a trickle. And so a 3/8 ounce allows me to fish everything I need to, doesn't allow me to hang up as much in some of the slower water and so forth. Once you really learn how to finesse your jigs through there, a 3/8 ounce is probably the preferred weight. And when I say that, when you really learn how to twitch, how much you need to reel to fish it through most of your spots, a 3/8 ounce kind of goes back into why I use 50-pound, right? The 3/8 ounce is similar in that a 3/8 ounce is not going to sink as hard. Therefore, I don't have to reel as much. Therefore, my jig can stay over in the fish's zone for a longer period of time.
Makes
I hope
sense.
that kind of helped a little bit.
No, that makes perfect sense, trying to keep that bait in front of them where they are in the zone. I know that earlier you had mentioned that you start your twitch as soon as it hits the bottom or hits the water, but understanding what he is saying, everyone, casting straight across or slightly down, if he starts that twitch right away, that jig is still falling in the water column, getting to the zone of where the fish actually are. All right, now, how about colors? There's so many different colors. When do you say, if you're fishing right now, a dark jig, when would you change to a bright jig and vice versa?
So, right now we have low, clear rivers. Everywhere is low and clear. So I'll use a little bit brighter jig first thing in the morning, like right at daylight, and you'll get good responses out of fish like that first 20 minutes or so. As the sun starts to come up, I start going to more subtle colors, more darks, blacks, purples. I've done, I don't know how many seminars on this, and everybody says, what if I have to buy one color? What color is I'm going to use? I said, if you're going to buy one color, you're going to use purple. And if you don't like purple, try purple.
I love it.
But that's probably purple is by far probably the number one color overall. Purple with a black head, purple with a pink head, purple with a chartreuse head. Yesterday, low clear water, it was purple with a chartreuse head. Cohos and kings both in the river I was fishing up on the north coast. That's what they wanted yesterday. But use our darker colors in low light conditions, or in low water conditions, high sunny days, that kind of stuff. As we start to get these days of rain, which we just were talking about, right? You start getting some rain and everything. You start getting darker days. You can start going to brighter colors. You can go to pinks, the cerises, those kind of colors, and have good success with those. And then, of course, if we get enough rain, which I hope we do, our rivers are going to get big. They're going to get turbid. They're going to get colors. I'm going to fish chartreuses. I'm going to fish bright pinks. I'm going to fish that kind of stuff. There's not a lot on the market. I tie some of my own that are white.
Oh, white. Yeah.
Yep. All white with pink tail or a chartreuse tail.
Very good.
One that I tie myself. That's one of my favorite all-time colors when the water is, let's say, less than 2 feet of visibility.
Which we all hope that actually happens. Bob, I got to cut to one last break with you. When we come back, I got one more question for you before we wrap up our conversation with Bob Kratzer from Angling Guide Service. Anglers Guide Service, excuse me. We'll be right back.
Yeah, not a problem. All right.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Terra Firma Foundation Systems. We keep homes safe, dry, and stable. By Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. And by Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective.